So I had a few ideas of what we should do. I'll present my screen. So all these ideas are going to teach us about a new function in Python, which is the import function. So I had many ideas, but there are only three I could choose from. So I have a dice simulator, which uses the import function. I have a number guessing game, which also uses the import function, or the rock paper scissors. So we have three ideas, and those are ideas for the project, and we'll only do one out of the three. So I'll put into a vote for which one you want, and you type it out in the comments. A dice simulator, or number guessing, or a rock paper scissors. So let's give all of us some time here. Does anyone else want to vote? Okay, thanks, okay. Tommy and Tosin, which options do one of you guys want to choose? Okay, Tommy, dice. Tosin, which one do you also want? Oh, H Heller? Okay, so we'll go with the dice simulator for now. And so let's make a new code cell. And first of all, let's make a new function called import. So once you've all done that, you then write a library called random. And so the import random function makes Python import a new library, which is going to be the random. Okay, so the next line, we're going to define a function called roll dice. And so the roll dice is going to be a function that's going to be defined with the new function, the define function. In here, we want to add something called dice. And you'll set it to random dot rand int. And what this line means is this variable called dice will be set to the library and a random integer, which is the rand int. Then you put a bracket and put the numbers with which you want it to go between. And dice has 6 numbers. So you do 1, then a comma, then a 6. The next thing we want to do is to return what we've gotten. So we'll write return dice. If we run it now, well, nothing would happen because we haven't printed it yet. And that's not all. What we are going to do now is then want the user to enter their inputs. So we'll make a while loop and say while 1. And so inside the while one, it would ask the user what we want to do. So we'll say y/n as a variable or y underscore n, and we'll set it to an input. And just say, do you want to roll a dice? So this is going to be the input function and ask if you want to roll the dice. But we need to give them the options they have to roll the dice. So you do y for yes / n for no. Then we'll use the if else. So you do if it's y, so if the variable is equal to y, we want it to roll the dice. So we'll make a variable called dice roll. And we'll set it to this function that's going to be defined here called roll dice. So we just do roll dice. Okay, so let's continue. And so we want to add the brackets, else it won't work. Now, we won't start yet because we need to add one more thing for it to work. Another function in the if else is the elif function, which consists if you have multiple options and you don't want to use if all the time. So you say if yn, which is the variable, is equal to n, we want it to break, which is the break function. Then else, in case the user doesn't enter y or n, they enter a different letter or number, we want it to print invalid input because there is no option, we put 0. Now I'll run my first. And they would say, do you want to roll a dice? If I say y, yes, we need to print rolling dice. So I'll just click n here. And you see the n function works. We'll print rolling dice. And so okay, so the reason why it didn't show is because we didn't add it in here, so we want to print the dice number. So we just say dice, and then we want to use the string function. Then we'll say dice roll, because you can't call the defined function up here, else it won't work. Let's run this again. And say rolling dice, and then it say the dice is 5. If you say y again, it prints run, which means it's choosing random options. So I'll just stop now. Okay, Tosin. Okay, Tosin, so I'll leave it open for you to catch up, and if anyone wants to share their screens or experiment with what we've done so far, so I'll share my screen if any of you haven't caught up yet. And so you can see we have basically just made a dice simulator using Python and using new function called the import function. If we go over the random, it's a show module. The random variable is a generator by bytes, and it forms bytes with integers between values between 0 and 255. So that means if we say an input that is higher than 255, it won't work. And it forms with a range sequence because it chooses a random range number. Is that all clear? Right now, I'll just call this. You guys can also try this too. Okay, so does anyone want to share their screen? So saying you can also catch up. Huh. So you can see how it works. It shows different inputs because it's a random.